heard some people say seed. I've heard some people say that they'll be in the same spot that they were last year, which was like a ninth, 10th seed range, fighting for a playoff spot. So like it really depends on where you put them.
I'll
Me
say like
personally,
they. I'll
I think
say they
OKC will
might be
probably
in the
be.
playing tournament. They're going to be
I
in the
think they'll
playing
be in the
tournament.
playing. I think they'll be in the
That's all
playing
I'm gonna
tournament
say.
too.
I love Chet Holmgren. I still love Williams. He used to play for Arkansas. That dude, when I saw him in March Madness, that dude was so
Hmm.
freaking good. That dude was a stud.
I love Chet too. And side note, they beat the Cavs. And it got them. I think their second win because I think they beat the Chicago Bulls in season opener.
Oh
Chet Holmgren
yeah.
had 16, 7 blocks.
All
Amazing.
right, hold on. We got casual.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we about to start the podcast,
Oh,
folks. Yo, what is up, folks? It's your boy Sports PSP. Welcome to the Sports PSP podcast, folks. Thank y'all for hopping on a Friday night. Of course, we got the crew in the building. My boy Casual, how you doing, bro?
yeah. Yo, what's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good?
Chilling, man. We got Harrison in the building. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Could have been better, but just can't wait for tomorrow. Can't wait for hopefully Duke beats Louisville tomorrow at 3:30 on ESPN. Can't wait for that, and hopefully the Panthers can try to get our first win against CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Hopefully, man, you definitely need a win by the end of this season, man. And of course, we got my man, undisputed world champ. How you doing, brother?
Doing great. Great night for basketball. Boston just beat Miami.
Oh,
Oh
Boston
shit!
119 to 111. I'm literally looking at y'all and watching this game at the same time so we can stay updated. So
I
all
don't know.
right.
Look, I don't know why people's acting surprised like that wasn't supposed to
yeah.
happen.
Oh yeah, by the way, guys, happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween. Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween. Happy Halloween. All right, folks. Speaking of the NBA, let's get to it. Of course, the season opener, Tuesday night, Denver Nuggets, their ring ceremony. They won the game. Casual, I'm gonna let you go first. What was your takeaways from the game?
Which game?
The Lakers Nuggets.
Season opener. I originally picked the Lakers to be able to beat the Denver Nuggets because I thought that on one hand for the Lakers this is a symbolized game where they sort of state that they're playing not the same team that we were before that so they were going to play the best brand of basketball.
All right.
But then what ended up happening was the Nuggets were actually properly focused. Oh shit! Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, but then what happened was the Denver Nuggets came in properly focused and arguably defense with the way that they were able to switch seamlessly, with the way that they were able to make every pass and every cut just meaningful as it was during the postseason. They also debunked the logic that the Bruce Brown loss and the Jeff Green loss was going to impact them in any kind of way. It doesn't. They have the best player in the world, and it's not close. And the fact that anybody thought that the Western Conference got that much closer to the different Nuggets with that much of
Hey,
everybody,
Casual, you lagging a little bit.
Okay. Uh,
Hold on, man. Don't worry about it. See if you can fix the
yeah,
technical difficulties, and when you're ready, I'll let you on. Champ, what
yeah,
did
yeah,
you
yeah.
think about the Lakers Nuggets game?
Number one, I'll say this. The difference between the first game that the Lakers played and the second game that the Lakers played that they actually won against the Phoenix Suns is Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis did not score a point in the second half against the Denver Nuggets. You saw the result. He got off in the second game against the Phoenix Suns. You saw the results. So the X factor for this year is going to have to be Anthony Davis. He's going to have to be an MVP candidate this year. As we can see, they're limiting LeBron right now and kind of giving him a lot of load management at this point because they're trying to get the younger guys involved. So it's going to rest on the shoulders of Anthony Davis this year. He's going to have to be the guy that he was in that second game against the Phoenix Suns. He's going to have to be. So that was the big difference between that first game and the second game.
All right. Harrison, what you thought about the Lakers Nuggets game? Harrison?
Yo, am I good?
Yeah, you're good now. I'm trying to see if I can get Harrison, but if Harrison can't respond casual, what were the things that you were saying? Because we didn't hear you because you were lagging.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, what I was saying
Okay.
was that when it came to the Lakers versus Denver Nuggets, I originally thought that the Denver Nuggets were going to lose because I thought that they weren't going to come in with the proper focus to go up against the Los Angeles Lakers, whereas the Lakers would come in and make a statement that, you know, this isn't last year and LeBron's healthy. So I thought that that was going to happen. But what that actually ended up happening was the Denver Nuggets proved what I was sort of suspicious of, which is that they're the best team in the NBA, or they're the best team in the West, and it's not close. Um,
Okay.
Anthony Davis, to put this into context, a lot of people like to talk about how Anthony Davis only scored 17 points. He scored 17 points in the first half, and then in the second half, he just like disappeared. I would like to also let you guys know that in the first half, even with him scoring 17 points, they were down 18 at one point. It got real nasty. It does not matter how good Anthony Davis plays because Anthony Davis is virtually ineffective. And this is the best the best defender in the world to me that I'm talking about. He is ineffective to Jokic because Jokic is that much better than everybody else in the NBA.
Mm-hmm. And also, too, you talked about Anthony Davis in terms of his lack of shot creativity. When it comes to his shot creativity, it's as low as it gets.
Oh yeah, well no. I don't think it's as low as it gets, but I think
But you're not that high on.
I'm not that high on it, but I haven't. I don't think that. I, to me, I don't know why it's a secret that's being exposed right now. Anthony Davis hasn't been a good shot creator for himself, or a great shot creator for himself, in like his whole career. Like if we're keeping it a stack, like I think when he was his best form of shot creation was when he was like his most athletic, when he was lighter in his New Orleans days, or even that one year in the Lakers for the Lakers in 2020. I think that was his best self as far as like shot creation. But that's about it. He can't create the proper space for him to shoot. Oftentimes, when he's in the mid range, he tries to shoot over defenders rather than create the proper space, almost KD like. Um, and he's a lob threat. He's a play finisher, and that's always been who he was as a player. I don't know why people have thought that he's got this Tim Duncan esque type style, and when Tim Duncan didn't even have like shot creation like that, if we're keeping it a stack, he
Mm-hmm.
was just fundamentally sound. Anthony Davis is not that. So, so yeah, that's the story of Anthony Davis's shot creation.
All right. Let's talk about the other game that we did see the day after. Let's talk about Mavericks versus Spurs. Of course, a lot of people were tuned in because of the debut of Victor Wembanyama, number one overall pick. I actually thought he looked pretty solid, and I actually saw the potential of what he could be. I mean, 7'3", 7'4", long, athletic, can defend, got a nice jump shot. I think he has a lot of potential. Luka Doncic, I mean, triple double. Luka's just the truth offensively. I do think he has to improve as a defender and to improve as a condition in terms of his condition. But what are your thoughts on what you saw from that game as well, Casual? Casual. All right, I mean, Champ, come on. What did you think about the Mavs Spurs game?
Uh, hey, Luca, I like to call him Larry Bird Jr. because man, he could definitely ball. Now, as you to your point, he does need to get into that weight room and get his conditioning right. I think once he masters that, he's going to be a hell of an even better player than he is now. Not to mention, Dallas needs to do a. I hope that him and Kyrie can finally find the continuity that they need to get on a good run. Because if they don't, then it's going to be a real big question of can Dallas build around him, much like they did with Dirk Nowitzki. There's going to be a huge question on why and if they can get a good team around him because he deserves to be in the playoffs. He deserves to be in the finals. He deserves to at least be in the conference finals as good as Luca is. So I like what I'm seeing. I love what I'm seeing against. I love what I'm seeing from Luca. As far as Victor Wembanyama is concerned, I think the potential is there. I think I said it on your show last week. His at worst, he's Sam Bowie because of maybe an injury here and there. At worst, he's a Sam Bowie,
Right.
which is not bad because you can't blame all of that on Sam Bowie because of you can't help how your body's going to react.
Or
But
Greg
at
Oden.
best, he's Tim Duncan. With Greg Popovich in that organization, they can develop a lot. They have proven to develop a lot of great players. So I think that Victor Wembanyama, even though he got into foul trouble early, he's going to be just fine.
All right. Let me see if we can try to get Casual or Harrison on the show if they can respond
Yo,
and talk.
Yeah,
yo,
I'm
Casual.
still here.
No, all right. I just want to make sure because we try to get y'all, but y'all didn't hear us.
Yeah, I was trying to get
Casual.
something to drink.
No, it's all
yo,
good.
yeah, my
No,
fault.
we just talk. No, it's all good. We talking about the Mavs Spurs game. What are your thoughts about Luca, and what are your thoughts about Wembanyama and the rest of the Mavs Spurs game? Casual.
Um, Mavs versus Spurs. Main takeaway: Luca is him. Wemby is very sound defensively, but offensively, he needs to get the hell off of that 3-point line. Um, he needs to gain more weight. I think his perimeter defense got exposed, not for it being like putrid or terrible, but a lot of people have been acting as if Wemby being 7'4" is capable of hanging out there and guarding players like Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic.
No.
And last night, or not last night, the night before, just proved even further that is like even farther from the truth. In actuality, Wembanyama is very much currently a 7'4", your typical 7'4" center who is long, lengthy. He's way more mobile than he should be, but even then, he still has his limitations, and he still has to develop just like every other rookie.
Was there anything else from that game, Casual, that stood out to you?
Vassell shooting. Devin Vassell is him. What's the jersey number that man wears? 24. He wear that shit for a reason, man. That nigga he is cold, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all, everybody this season is talking about Wemby. I'm trying to put y'all on early. Get committed to the name, Devin Vassell.
Yeah, he was playing excellent in the first half of that game. He was playing
Mm-hmm.
great in the first half of that game. Harrison, what's your thoughts about the Mavs Spurs game?
Didn't watch a lot of it. I just saw a few highlights here and there. I just saw my guy Derek Lively hit like that. That was an insane fucking dunk that dude just did. Holy mackerel! Because as a Duke fan, I seen this man Derek Lively. The dude does nothing but fucking dunks. Bro's like playing like freaking Shaquille O'Neal with the freaking Boston Celtics. That's how. It's pretty pathetic, but at the same time, like what you guys say about Luca, Luca is still him. But I just don't know about this Kyrie, Luca. Is it gonna be like? Is this gonna be like a? I just don't know about those two. Is Luca want to get traded, or does he really want to stay in Dallas? So that's the thing. But it's up.
I don't think
Oh, go
his
ahead.
commitment. No, I was gonna say I don't think his commitment is should be in question right now. I do agree with you though. Kyrie and Luka, suspicious, very suspicious.
It's just like but shout out to Trey Jones. I mean, shout out to Derek Lively. But I just think that Victor Wembanyama. How many points did he have? 17? Or I'm tripping.
15.
15.
He had
Oh,
15. But to Casual's point, he thought too many times. He's got to try to find ways to score besides shooting from the three. But of course, he's gonna have to put on some weight as his career goes on. Matter of fact, I'm watching some of the rest of the Nets Mavericks game. Luka's just killing. Even though they're trailing by 3 right now, he already got 35, 7, and 7. And it's already the end of the third quarter.
Good
So,
God. Good.
But
yeah,
he already gained up like 18 pounds. Victor Wembanyama did, right?
yeah.
But
Oh, and by the way, Ben Simmons is actually playing well. He's got 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists.
oh my,
I don't
wow!
know who.
The last time we saw Ben Simmons played, it was freaking 7 points with 10.
No, but this is a make it or break a year for Ben Simmons. I think, given the fact that he's healthy, and plus, though, to Casual's point, they're not. I mean, he's going to spread the ball more. Yo, whose noise is that in the background? Because I can't hear it stuff.
Bro's at the mall or something.
Yo, Casual, are you at the mall or something?
Hell no. Can you hear me? Am I good now?
Yeah, you good,
Yeah,
but
you're
there was
good,
some
but like
crazy
Jesus
noise in the
Christ.
background.
Yeah, I was like, the shit was, bro. Like, when I get into the car, I swear to God, my shit start playing hopscotch with who it wants to join. Like the shit started joining my fucking car, and then it'd be like, "Nah, I'm gonna use the phone audio." It was like, "Nah, can I use your headphones real quick?" And then it'd be
Yeah,
like,
but
"Nah, let me just breathe for a second."
but anyway, you look at it right now. Luke already got
Sorry.
35, 7, and 7 against the Nets. Ben Simmons, to his credit, though, he already has 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists on 5 of 7 shooting. And I was saying, Casual, that this is a make it or break a year for Ben Simmons, given how bad he was last year. I think, given the fact that he is healthy, so he, his camp, everyone else have been saying this is the best that he's ever felt. So we're gonna judge Ben Simmons and we're gonna hold him at his word. If Ben Simmons can be what he was in Philadelphia in terms of being the defender, the playmaker, I'm not asking him to score 30, 35 a night, but can you at least give me 12, 14 a night? I think you should be fine with Ben Simmons. The only concern I have is with the free throw shooting, but you've often said, though, that because there's enough shot creators and shooters, you don't have to worry about it as much because he's going to be spreading the ball to a variety of guys.
Yeah, I think I've disagreed with you before when you said this. I don't think this is a make or break year for Ben Simmons because I don't think that the expectation of Ben Simmons is that of what it used to be. I think majority of the people have outside of Brooklyn fans have come to the conclusion that Ben Simmons is what he is. So seeing him produce what he produces is actually a breath of fresh air, but it's not something that you're just holding him to. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's the best thing for Ben Simmons is to not be held to that standard because when you hold him to that standard, he's shown that the pressure can become a little bit too much for him. Whereas him coming to Brooklyn, especially this season with KD and Kyrie being gone, this being basically a young group with no expectations, you're not expecting them to make it to the conference finals or the NBA finals. You're expecting them. You would be excited if they just made the playoffs, right? That is the perfect scenario for Ben Simmons to get back to the way that he was playing before, which was elite level defense, good to great playmaking, and his passing and rim finishing being like of a good frequency given the volume in which he shoots the ball. That's what you would like to see from him. But the fact that people keep pushing this, he better get back to his usual, 17, 8, and 8 self. I think that that's a little bit like crazy considering you saw how that ended up for him 2 years in a row with last year and the year before that when he had the whole blunder situation where he passed the ball to Tobias Harris against the Hawks. Like, give this man a breather and let him play himself into his own expectations. This isn't the Ben Simmons from before.
Okay, but first of all, Casual, no one is saying that Ben Simmons needs to be LeBron James. What we're saying is, can Ben Simmons be what he was in Philadelphia? Because last year, Ben Simmons, he had a career low. And yes, you could say he was coming off the back injury. And yes, he had a year off from basketball. But at the same time when Ben Simmons is giving you 7 points and when he's shooting a career low 43% from the free throw line, that's a concern. And again, he's getting paid top-notch money. I'm not asking Ben Simmons to play at an elite level, but if he could be what he was in Philadelphia, in Brooklyn, then I think for Brooklyn he should be fine because he's in a different organization. He's with different players now. They have a gang load of shooters. So they're not asking Ben Simmons to be what he was supposed to be coming out of college as LeBron or anything like that. If Ben Simmons can be a component to the team, which he is because of his defense, the playmaking, the passing, what he can do in the transition, I think he'll be fine. I think with Brooklyn, it has to work out. And plus, when Jacques Vaughn talked about how Ben was utilized last year, I think Ben Simmons will be fine now because, A, you can't be worse off than what you were last year, okay? You already taken a ton of criticism for your game and your play. So this is why I say it's a make it year for him because you want to show you have a lot to prove as far as a player. And I think you have a lot to prove in terms of your contract because when that contract goes up, eventually you're going to do everything you can to fight for a new contract. So that's why I say make it or break a year for Ben Simmons.
The reason why it's absurd for you, the reason why it's absurd for you guys to be sitting here saying, "Oh, we want him to get back to Philly Ben Simmons," because I don't think you guys understand how excellent of a player Ben Simmons was in Philly. Him
No,
getting back to that.
Actually, casually do. We
Okay,
actually
so
do.
okay. So if you understand that, do you understand why his first full year of being like fully healthy, why it was crazy for you guys to want him to get right back to that immediately? That's
No,
what
I
I'm
don't think
saying.
right back immediately. I don't think right back immediately. Eventually, he was going to be rusty by the time he came back onto the court. Considering the fact that he missed a year of basketball, he was going to be rusty. What else do you expect?
Uh-huh. So
I
so
thought
so
I
you
thought that Brooklyn, him coming to Brooklyn would be a rejuvenation for him because he
uh-huh.
doesn't have to deal with the Philly fans. He doesn't have to deal with Doc and Embiid. What hurt
Mm-hmm.
Ben Simmons and why I knew he wanted out of Philadelphia, that press conference with Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid. When Doc was asked the question, do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as your point guard? Doc says, I don't know the answer to that question. Or Joel Embiid, what was the turning point in that game? Well, the turning point is when we had an open layup or dunk, but we passed it up and we hit 1 or 2 from the free throw line. From there, Ben Simmons wanted out because after what he said, what's the point of him coming back to the organization or the team? Slim to none. I thought in Brooklyn, I thought he wasn't going to be what he was in Philly, but I expected a little bit more production. I expected better play from Ben Simmons. Now, could it be because of his health? Could it be because of the back? Could it be because of the knee or a lot of other things? Sure. But I thought that Ben Simmons would be more than just 7.7 rebounds, 7 assists. That's what I thought. I'm
Okay,
not
and
saying that Ben Simmons. Go ahead.
but what I'm saying, when you asked me to speak on this, you started off with saying that Ben Simmons, this is a make or break year for him this year.
Yes.
That is what I mean when I say, why are you putting pressure on him at all when he showed you last year? You putting pressure on him, saying, "All right, you're on Brooklyn now. You're supposed to be fully healthy now. Let's see what you
because
got
of what
now." And
he
it
and his camp have
backfired.
been saying. Because of what he and his camp
Well,
have been saying.
him
His
and his
camp,
camp has been saying, all right,
they've been
him and his
saying
camp
that Ben
was saying
Simmons is
even in Philly.
casual. They've been saying that Ben Simmons is as healthy as he's ever been. So of course I'm going to take him and his camp at his word. So because Ben Simmons saying, okay, I'm healthy this year, I feel a lot better. He even said that he's ready to dominate this season compared to what he was last season. Then of course you're gonna have to take them at their word.
So the last few years, because OG, I want you to tell me if I'm wrong. The last few years, has Ben Simmons and his camp not been saying that Ben Simmons developed a 3-point shot? Have they not been posting videos of this man shooting threes?
We've seen it in the
Okay,
offseason. But why is it
okay.
not
So if
shown
you
in the
okay,
game?
exactly. So if you've seen it for multiple years of them posting it and promoting him of, oh man, y'all gonna get it now. He didn't got a jump shot, and then you go into the regular season and he shows no development of a jump shot. Why in 2023 are we still biting these pump fakes that him and his camp are doing to just essentially get more eyes on him so that he can still be relevant?
What's the point you're trying to make?
That's what I'm okay. That right there is my point. Him and his camp have been pump faking for the last few years about his skill set and how it's developed and how he's ready to come out and take over the world. And y'all every time sit there and be like, all right, we hear what you say. We're gonna expect him to do this. And then he doesn't do it. So at this point in 2023, in his 7th or 6th season, and he shows you guys, I'm still figuring it out. Why are we still putting pressure on him to show us something that we know isn't coming? We know
So
it's
in
not
other words,
coming.
accept him for who he is.
Can I tap
Accept
in on
him
this
for
real quick?
who he is.
Can I
Yeah,
tap in on this real quick?
Go
go ahead.
ahead,
My
champ.
thing to PSP's point is this: if you don't want anybody to hold you to any expectations, then close your mouth. You
Thank
didn't
you.
tell your temp, didn't tell your temp to close your mouth.
I agree.
Right.
I
I agree.
mean, if you and the thing is, I don't think it's been talked about enough. How's his confidence? How's his
Right.
own
I just
confidence
spoke. Yeah, I've
in
been
his
speaking on.
shot?
I've been speaking about that. I've been speaking
How's
about
his
that.
own confidence in his shot? How's his own confidence to drive towards the basket? Because you can have a fully healed body, and as we saw with Nick Anderson, you can not have a fully healed mind. You can still have post-traumatic syndrome from previous years. But back to what PSP was saying, hey, if you don't want anybody to hold you to any expectation, you might want to keep your mouth on hold and stop running your mouth and tell your camp to stop posting videos about you having a shot, you ready to drive and ready to dominate this league. Because guess what? We're going to hold you to that expectation. It's just like me coming out to a buffet saying I'm finna eat 100 steaks. People are going to tell you, okay, we want to see those 100 steaks being ate now, and I only eat 2. They're going to ask you, hey man, what happened to all that stuff you was talking? If you talk, you're gonna have to walk the walk.
Exactly.
There's no difference between what we hear, and I hate to make this as a bad comparison, but it's a comparison nevertheless. It's kind of like you hear the Dallas Cowboys say, "This is our year every single year." Okay, we're gonna hold you to that.
Exactly.
We
We just
have to
hold
hold
him.
you to that because you're opening your mouth and speaking it into the basketball world or to the football world. Whenever you open your mouth, hey, that's what we're expecting. I feel as great as I ever was. Okay, I feel like I could get my team to the finals in the playoff. Okay, that's the standard we're going to hold you to. Because why? You're holding yourself to that expectation.
And
When you
again,
hold your
casual. Yeah, go ahead,
and when
champ.
you hold yourself to that expectation, then we as a collective are going to hold you to that. It's called accountability. It's not just in life, it's in sport. If you say that you're going to do something, we expect for you to do it.
And
I
again,
agree. I agree. But I think at the same time, I agree. But on the flip side, I think as fans, we need to stop with this theory of if somebody said something, we're going to take them for their word. Because how many times have we taken somebody for their word and they showed us that is not who they truly are? If we are going into year 6 of Ben Simmons' career, and for the last 4 off seasons of his career, him and his camp have pushed propaganda that he has developed something that when we get into the regular season, we see he obviously has not. Then we as NBA, I would like to think at this point, we are YouTube analysts. We are YouTube NBA analysts. We need to be smart enough of saying we're not falling for it this time. I'm going to wait and see who you are and form my opinion on who you are based off of what I see, not what I hear you saying you trying to be.
that's
Great point as well.
fair. But two things could be true.
No, no,
Two things.
I said I agree. I
No,
agree.
no, and
I
but
agree.
no,
He needs to. I
no,
agree.
no.
He needs to shut his mouth.
I
Yeah, he
agree.
needs to shut
But
his
casual,
mouth.
like I said, two things could be true. When I said two things could be true, even though you are right that we've seen enough body of work to say this is who Ben Simmons is. Nevertheless, it would be a lot better for Ben Simmons if he didn't say it. Now, if he just didn't say anything and if he just let his play do the talking, then that's fair enough. But because Ben Simmons is holding himself to that standard, okay, Ben, you're saying you're healthy, you're saying this and all that, we expect you to live up to what you said. That's what I mean, casual. Two things could be true. Yes, you're right that we've seen Ben Simmons. This is now year 8 in his career, realistically 6 because he missed 2 years in his NBA career.
Mhm.
We've seen enough body of work to know this is who he is. But at the same time, if someone is going to say it, we're going to hold them at their word. We're going to always hold people at their word, no matter what. As Champ said, accountability. So that's how we leave it as. That's all. But
I agree.
Harrison,
I agree.
let's talk about the rest of the NBA. Harrison, is there anything from the NBA you've looked at that's really stood out to you?
Oh, gee, that's a tough one. I was just so surprised that we freaking beat the Hawk. That's pretty much it. Besides LaMelo Ball owning Trey Young, that's pretty much. But everything else, I mean, besides the Derek Lively dunk, I mean, seeing the, how many points did Tatum had today? I didn't watch a single game of that. Of
I'm
that.
I
looking
didn't
it
see
up
how
right
many
now.
points he had. I called it at the tail end. I apologize. Hold on. Let
No,
me check 1 second.
Is it crazy to say that we might see the same thing minus it's going to be the Bucks and the Celtics? Is it going to happen? It's going to happen. I think it's going to be the same thing like last year, minus the Bucks, minus the Heat and the Celtics. I think it's going to be Bucks and Celtics in my West. Oh shit! I might think Nuggets and Lakers, but I don't know. I mean, I'm just so happy that we got a win over got our first win of the NBA season. Then we're just gonna go downhill from here and turning into shit. So
Uh,
I'm
mhm.
just gonna
Jason
enjoy
Tatum.
this while it lasted. Go ahead.
Jason Tatum had 22 points, 8 rebounds. Porzingis 17 points, 9 rebounds. Drew Holiday had a double double, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Devin White was the star of the game. I was seeing how he was
Absolutely.
shining at the end. He had 28 points, 6 rebounds, and Jalen Brown 27.6. So so
Mm,
the entire team had a great game.
mm.
Mhm.
I
No
mean,
doubt.
So
I'm pretty sure that 3-man trade. I think the Celtics won the trade.
Yeah, they
Pretty
did.
sure.
yeah,
And
we're
my
not gonna be
Bulls
able to
right
see the results until the playoffs though.
and my Bulls, they're probably about to lose to the Raptors. They down 3 with like 8.6 seconds left. Scotty Barnes, 19 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists. So I mean, I like what I'm seeing from Scotty
Is it
Barnes.
time for you to trade DeMar DeRozan? Is it time to trade what's his name? The
Woo!
catcher? Who's not the center? What's his name?
I don't even know what the Bulls are doing, man. We probably not gonna make any trades for DeRozan or anything like that. We're probably just gonna keep it how it is, and then we're just gonna have to go for next year.
I feel bad for him. Like he needs to go back to like Toronto or something. Like I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. I feel bad for the man because he has to deal with like a bunch of shenanigans that he doesn't want to be part of.
He has to deal. He has to deal. DeRozan? DeRozan's the problem. What the hell? What are we
Is he
doing?
the problem?
What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't. I haven't kept up with the NBA a lot. Is DeRozan the problem? Is he the problem?
I mean, when are y'all gonna get Lonzo back? Is he ever gonna come back?
No, I'm afraid he's gonna sit out for the rest of the season because of the knee injury.
Oh shit! I
Lonzo, I
forgot
really
about
love
him too.
Lonzo because he's improved over the course of his career. He's improved as a jump shooter, and he can bring some quality with the playmaking, the passing, and the defense. But man, the knees, the injuries, I just don't know, man. And it's really sad because Lonzo has gotten better since he was drafted back in 2017. But I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with Chicago. But
I don't know
Casual.
either.
Has there any player?
DeRozan.
Go ahead.
Hold on, let me say this real quick.
Okay.
DeRozan is the problem in the sense he is amazing offensively.
Okay.
A playmaker for him to be able to subside that, nor does his playoff translation work well when you get into the postseason. His playoff style does not work well. It just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I didn't know he was the problem. I mean, shit. I think he just needs to get out of here. Probably go somewhere else. But I mean, I don't know.
Didn't he do the same thing when he was in Toronto? He got out of Toronto and went to the Spurs. Then
I
left
forgot
the
he was in the
Spurs and
Spurs.
then went to Chicago. So, is it safe to say that he's just not a winner?
Is it time for him to throw
That
in the
is-
towel?
Sadly, it is what it is.
It's kind of like, hey, you got that max contract right before the season start. LeBron's team was on his way down in the East. The minute they trade you and got Kawhi Leonard, they win the finals. You had the best record in the NBA 2 years in a row at Toronto, so you can't make it out of the second round. San Antonio, you were a bust. Go to Chicago, meth. So,
Mhm.
hey, you're just
All
not
right.
a winner. And that's okay, because the thing is, everybody is not a winner as far as winning finals and winning championships. Everybody's not going to be a winner in this NBA.
I'm pretty sure no one can.
All right, folks, we're going to end off this one last basketball subject, and then we're going to move on to some football. We're going to do a start, bench, or cut. I didn't create this one. I didn't create this one before the show. I just came up with it now. Right now, who would you go with? Paulo Banchero, Victor Wembanyama, or Chet Holmgren? Well, in the future. Champ, I'm going to let you go first.
I go with Victor Wembanyama simply because of the history of the franchise for the future.
Okay, you start. Okay, casual. I don't know what's going on.
This man, dude.
Harrison. Go.
How much the bias in me? You know what? I'm being biased. I'm going with Paulo Banchero. I just think that the way I think he still has a lot of talent in him with the Magic. I mean, I still like Paulo. He's been doing pretty good with the Magic with Cole Anthony and Wendell Carter Jr. if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going with Paulo. I'm going with PB.
For me, between Paulo, Chet, and Victor, Paulo has more of the NBA man body than those two. Paulo's like a legit 6'10", 250. Chet is probably 200-ish. Victor Wembanyama, I don't know how much he weighs. Probably a little over 200, but not much. I'm going to go with Victor because of the situation that he's in with Popovich, San Antonio Spurs organization. I think is when they surround him with enough players and with the system, and when they give him, and when he develops his man body, I think he'll be fine. So I go Victor over Chet and Paulo to which one I would build my franchise around. But casual, we're gonna do one last basketball subject, and then I gotta move on to some football stuff.
Yeah.
If you're a GM or an owner, I give you a choice between Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, and Paulo Banchero for your future. Who you going?
Wemby. Easy.
Okay. Easily. Okay. What are some of the concerns you have with Chet and Paulo?
Chet is health, and Paulo, he's just not good enough.
Mm-hmm. As a defender, or
no, just all around. He's not good enough.
Okay.
Especially if Wemby's on the tables. This would be more of a debate if it was like, let's say, Darren Fox, Trae Young, John Morant talk. But when we're talking about Wemby, Chet, and Paolo, it's like Wemby is like way up there. He has like best in the world capabilities. Chet has like top 10 capabilities, and Paolo is like a top 25 caliber player at his best.
Mm-hmm. Do you still have the concerns with Shaq? I mean, because that's been the concern coming out of him.
As far as his health?
Yeah, because outside of health, he definitely has mad skills, mad potential.
Yeah, no, he has mad skills and mad potential, but Chet has that same potential, but even more elevated. Like he could be an even better scorer because he has the versatility of being able to shoot consistently from the 3-point line. He has the body, the movement for him to be able to be a creator on the mid range. He has the ability to be able to finish. He's already shown his capability of being like a great finisher. Mix that along with his ability to be an elite rim protector and shot blocker, and his ability to operate around the perimeter. He does everything Chet does, just better because he's 7'4" and so long.
Okay. All right, folks, we're gonna move on to some NFL casual. You still want to stick around, or do you need to like?
I gotta get out. I'm finna take Lil Homie to go see Five Nights at Freddy's. So wish me luck.
No, see that movie. No bullshit.
It's not the way I thought I'd be spending my Friday night, but shit, here we go.
All right, brother. Take it easy, man. All right, casual, always a great guest, man. Folks, let's talk about some NFL. Let's talk about the San Francisco 49ers. Champ, I'm going to let you go first. They've lost back-to-back games in which they were the favorites to win. They lost on the road to the Cleveland Browns, and then they lost Monday night against the Minnesota Vikings. What's been going on with the 49ers?
Injuries. Remember Trent Williams did not play that game.
Right.
Now, although Danielle Hunter didn't have a huge game, I mean, that's a huge factor when you lose your starting right tackle, because that's who's protecting your blind side, to be honest with you. And honestly, Deebo Samuels did not play that game. That was a huge question. And it was another huge question about Christian McCaffrey's health. So I guess it all comes down to injuries at this point. So that was a huge factor in that last game. The Cleveland Browns game, they just got beat straight up. Cleveland was the better defensive team at that point. Matter of fact, them and my Atlanta Falcons are top 10 or our top 5 defense right now. It's the Ravens, the Browns, and then the Falcons. They're top 3 right now. So they just had the better defense, and they came up against a great defense. So that's how come they lost. But that second game, a lot of injuries, a lot of inconsistency on the offensive line, and you got to take that into consideration.
All right. Harrison, what says you about the 49ers?
Brock Purdy's a fucking fraud. He is a fucking fraud. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck about. I care about Christian McCaffrey because, yes, the injuries, and also we talk about. Oh, I forgot the dude's name because he was on the pod talking about the guards. I mean, bro.
Oh, Guru.
Yeah, that guy. He would talk about the guards are not most your offensive line or your guards are not important in the NFL. Well, guess what? You're completely wrong. Well, I think Sam Darnold is going to be playing because we saw him in Carolina with Christian McCaffrey when Christian McCaffrey was healthy. They were actually doing pretty good. Look, they were like by far a great duo together. But is this are the whole entire team of frauds? No. I mean, is Brock Purdy a fraud? Absolutely. I'd rather see Sam Darnold start over Brock Purdy. I mean, we already know my franchise quarterback is better than him. Look at my profile pic. Thank you very much. But at the end of the day, I think the team needs to stay healthy. At the end of the day, because Deebo's coming back in week 10, and with Christian McCaffrey with an oblique injury, which is I think with the ribs, which that is really hard because that's really hard to breathe when you have that oblique injury. But I don't know. But if Christian McCaffrey could just try to stay healthy, I think they still have a shot to win the game against the Cincinnati Bengals. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think with the 49ers, to Champ's point, Trent Williams. Losing Trent Williams does play a huge role, and then with Debo's injury. But I just see with Brock Purdy, I'm not going to call him necessarily a fraud. This is like what he is. I mean, I don't think he's the type of quarterback that can win it for you, but you can win it with him as long as you surround him with the right type of system, the right type of pieces. I just don't know if San Francisco, they got a big game against the Bengals. They had the bye week and they've won their last couple of games. Their most recent victory was against Seattle. So they have to win this one in order to still stay atop of the NFC because it's still San Francisco, Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is still, their record is like 6-1, but Jalen Hurts, though, has been struggling taking care of the football. Outside of the game against the Commanders, he has thrown or committed a turnover every game. And then when you look at and when you look at Philly last year compared to this year, they're not as dominant as they were this season. I mean, some of the victories, they've been close ones. You look at the New England game, you look at the Minnesota game, you look at the game against the Commanders in overtime, 34-31. You look at the rest of the games that they've won, it's not convincing fashion, except the Miami one. The game against the Jets one, they were at their worst. I mean, Hurts did a terrible job as far as taking care of the football and everything else, and he got outplayed by Zach Wilson. But shout out to Zach Wilson. He's been handling the situation well. He's shown a lot more maturity. He's definitely improved his play, so I will give him that. Let's also talk about Justin Herbert, because we talked about this, Champ and I, on Brandon's podcast. What's been going on with the Chargers? We understand Brandon Staley. He's got to go. He's one of the worst coaches in the NFL. I think there's him and there's my guy, Ron Rivera, unfortunately for me. It's just a mess with the Chargers and Justin Herbert. Yes, he's been banged up a little bit. He lost to the Chiefs. No shame losing to the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes in that offense. But at one point in that game, it was pretty competitive. It was still 17-17. And then later on in the second half, it was 17-24 Chiefs. What's been going on with the Chargers and Herbert, Champ?
I think one thing I don't think people are talking about too much, he is really, really missing Mike Williams.
Yeah.
That injury to Mike Williams took away a big portion of their offense. I think he's really missing Mike Williams. Another part of it, Brandon Staley is doing a lot of mistakes as far as, putting an older Khalil Mack. Even when he was in his heyday, I don't think he could check a Tyreek Hill. So it's a lot of bad calls, a lot of bad field positions, and a lot of bad plays on Brandon Staley's part. At this point, you have to say to yourself, you have to ask yourself, is this another Dan Fouts type of player? A lot of stat padding as far as a lot of passing yards, a lot of numbers, but, can you really win in the playoffs with Justin Herbert at a certain point? And even without Brandon Staley, you're going to have to ask yourself that question. Now, I will say this, a lot of the play calling by Kellen Moore is kind of like a little bit questionable. And I think I said this on Brandon's show as well. There's a lot of similarities between Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett back when he was an offensive coordinator at the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of no motion, no trickery type of plays that you're just going straight up against the defense. And I think that's a bad offense to have a guy like a Justin Herbert in. Like I said, there's really no difference. If you really go back and look at the offense that Jason Garrett ran when he was the offensive coordinator with the Dallas Cowboys, and look at what Kellen Moore is doing right now with the Chargers. There's really no difference.
Mm-hmm. Harrison, what are your thoughts about the Chargers and Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Staley needs to get fired. Just don't know what week. I'm not gonna. If they make the playoffs again, like I wouldn't. He's not. I don't think he's not gonna get fired because they're gonna make the playoffs. But I don't know, dude. Brandon Staley is just like, he is a roller coaster. He is a roller coaster. It's like,
Six Flags. He's Six Flags.
yeah, but it was just like a roller coaster for Brandon Staley. It's like a roller coaster for Herbert. He's just. Is it crazy to say that Ben McAdoo can be a better coach than freaking than Brandon Staley?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
they did make
depending on
the
the
Giants.
personnel.
Hold up, the Giants did make the playoffs under Ben McAdoo.
Yeah, 2016. They did.
A lot of
It's-
trickery, a lot of misdirection. I mean, you give him to his point, if you give him a team like the the Los
Los
Angeles
Angeles.
Chargers,
Close enough. Close enough.
the Los Angeles Chargers, I think it'll make a big difference. You know, the talent is, in New York is kind of in the toilet at this point, versus in San Diego, as always, is in abundance. So, that's not a bad argument to make, to be honest with you.
I mean, I think that we know Ben Johnson. He needs to go because he's going to go bye somewhere else. I mean, the Chargers, that could be a good option for him. I mean, if the Chargers pick Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, they could still win like 10 or 11 games with Ben Johnson. I mean, Herbert's still doing his thing. I mean, people call him overrated. I don't call him overrated. I still think he's still a top 5, close to a top 3 quarterback at the end of the day. It's just losing Mike Williams and stuff. I don't know where the fuck is Quentin Johnson, man, the rookie from TCU. Where has he been?
But they drafted him because big body, physical type of wide receiver. Because Keenan Allen,
he been doing?
He hasn't been doing much. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, big body, physical wide receivers. Keenan Allen is a very good wide receiver, but injury problems. Mike Williams coming out of Clemson, he had durability problems. And for Herbert, you brought in another big body wide receiver in Quentin Johnson. I think, Champ, they're missing Mike Williams. His absence has played a big role for the Chargers. But I think with the Chargers, they're going to have to fire Brandon Staley, whether during or after the season. And when I look at the Chargers as an organization, I'm afraid he's going to end up becoming Phillip Rivers, man. A really good quarterback that's going to put up some good numbers. He's going to get into the Hall of Fame discussion in the Hall of Fame. I believe Phillip Rivers is going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He has longevity. He's been to 8 Pro Bowls, although he's only been to 1 AFC Championship game. But he has been considered a top 10, top 8 quarterback in the NFL. That is where I'm afraid Justin Herbert is going to go. And I said it. If the Chargers, unless they get their act together, if I'm Herbert, I seriously consider a trade because I'm going to be in that division with Patrick Mahomes for a decade. Patrick Mahomes ain't going anywhere. He's about 2.5 years older than Justin Herbert. Kansas City Chiefs have been the team in the AFC West, let alone in the AFC. 5 consecutive AFC Championship appearances, not one road playoff game in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid era. Andy Reid is not going anywhere anytime soon. So if I'm Herbert, man, I'm stuck with this coach. Players are constantly getting hurt. I'm going to be the second or third best team in that division. Why not for me to go elsewhere? Why not go to a team in the NFC, where if you bring me in, obviously we're going to be a legit contender. So what are your thoughts about that, Champ?
Honestly, to be honest with you, it won't be the first time that San Diego, I apologize, so my age.
That's how I feel about them.
Wouldn't be the first time that the Los Angeles Chargers did that. Remember, before even Phil Rivers, Dan Fouts never won a Super Bowl. I mean, they have a bad habit of wasting a lot of quarterbacks' potential and the offensive potential. I mean, look at what they did with Drew Brees and Marty Schottenheimer.
With LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates, Vincent Jackson.
Yes. And not to mention, people don't even realize this. They were so deep at the running back position when Marty Schottenheimer and LaDainian Tomlinson was there. They had 3 Pro Bowlers in the backfield. They had LaDainian Tomlinson, Michael Turner, and then Darren Sproles. That's how well they were drafted. So, but here's the thing. I think Brandon Staley's going to be gone this year, but I want people to pay very, very close attention to something that's happening in college football, the cheating scandal, because that may very well put Jim Harbaugh back into a discussion for a head coaching position. Can you imagine him at the Los Angeles Chargers and doing what he did at San Francisco?
Oh my
It wouldn't be a
god.
surprise though. He
I
back in
mean,
Cali. He
you
back
know,
in Cali. Head coaching job there.
yeah, head coaching job in Los Angeles. It's already a good team. It just needs much like that 49ers team when they had Mike Singletary, you just need somebody to come in and forge the team by fire and put the finishing touches on it. Hey, who better to do it than Jim Harbaugh? Now, he going to burn you out by year 5. And he going to burn it because he going to burn the candle at both ends for 5 years. You got to win it with him quick. But bring in Jim Harbaugh, I think he can get you the way you need to be. And he can coach with Andy Reid.
Yeah, it definitely can. And certainly you need a head coach to challenge Andy Reid, because you look at the coaches right now in the AFC West. Josh McDaniels, I said it before, man. It was a mistake that the Raiders brought him on the team, considering the job he did in Denver in 2009 and 2010. And what has he been without Brady and Belichick? He comes from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. So coaches who've come from that coaching tree haven't panned out well. And then you look at the Broncos with Sean Payton. You know, Sean Payton kept running his mouth, talking about how bad of a head coach Nathaniel Hackett was last season. Sean Payton's worse. And the only reason why the Packers won that game, Packers lost that game to the Broncos, is because of that bad turnover by Jordan Love. Jordan Love, to me, has been somewhat inconsistent this season, even though he's shown some flashes. And when I look at the Chargers, they're wasting away talent, man. They've had a lot of really good offensive talent, from Sproles, LaDainian Tomlinson, Vincent Jackson, Antonio Gates. They also had Drew Brees. They also had Phillip Rivers. They also had some quality pieces on the defensive side of the football. Quinn Jammer, Sean Merriman. They had somewhat of a squad, and for some reason, unfortunately, they've just wasted it away. So with the Chargers, man, I don't know, but Herbert, outside of Los Angeles, why would I be with the Chargers? Why would I be with this organization?
Where would you want to be honest with you? Because everybody if you really see it, the contending teams that we see in the NFC, they already have a quarterback or don't have the cap space in order to get them. Like, would we love to see Justin Herbert in, let's say, San Fran? Do they have the cap space? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Would we love to see him in, let's say, Dallas? Do they have the cap space? Well, I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones, if he wanted them bad enough, to maneuver a couple of things, because they'll let Jerry Jones get away with anything out there in Dallas. He's the most powerful owner in the NFL right now. But does he have significant cap space in order to sign him? You can kind of balk on that. So I think you'll have to go to one of those teams, probably in the NFC South, that can really afford him, or even the AFC. Well, I could see him going to one of the teams in the AFC West. But even if you go to, let's say, Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Rams, can they afford him right now with all the cap hits they have had lingering over that Super Bowl a couple years ago?
I doubt it.
So
I
yeah,
don't
so you
think
have to
so.
think about caps. You got to think about cap space and everything when it comes to that trade, because you got to think about who can really afford me. What am I going to walk into? Am I going to walk into another dumpster fire of a team? Granted, am I going to walk from a from a from a decent situation in San Diego to a dumpster fire somewhere else, like a Chicago or an Arizona, or even worse? Am I going to walk into a circus of an organization? Because can you imagine him getting traded to the Dallas Cowboys, or getting traded to San Diego, and how much of a circus that would be? You got to ask yourself those questions before you start demanding trade. Now, granted, like I said, only thing that's been lacking with San Diego the last couple of years, they haven't had a true coach since Marty Schottenheimer. They haven't had a true coach since then. Ever since
Right.
they fired Marty, they have not, because Noah Turner, he was a glorified offensive coordinator. He was the Lincoln Riley of, the NFL. Good
Right.
offense, can't bring it together, no championship pedigree. He's still trying to recreate the triplets years later after 1992, which is not going to happen. That was the only reason why he kept getting coaching jobs, because of the triplets.
Right.
So
And not only
you
that,
have
with Herbert, he has a no trade clause.
yeah.
But the cap, that's a big situation, though, because what team in the NFC that could take him? Because it may be your team, champ, the Falcons. You never know.
It may be, but I doubt. Like I said, with that whole situation, I doubt if we didn't go after Lamar Jackson, I don't think we're ever going to go after another quarterback like that. And as I put on my TikTok page earlier, all of those quarterback trades have been known to backfire in a hurry. Look at the two trades that we just seen with Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. I mean, I remember going all the way back to Mike Phillips and Paul Warfield. All these quarterback trades that people make in order to trade up for quarterbacks, in order to trade for franchise quarterbacks, they hardly ever work out. And plus, I don't think that would work as far as right now because of Arthur Smith. You're going to have to get a better offensive coach in
Way
order to
better
get that
offensive
in.
line.
Because there's no reason for you to have a top three defense and you're still lagging on offense because the defense keeping you in it every single game. So if we were to trade for somebody like a Justin Herbert, you're gonna have to get a better offensive coach in there.
I'm really scared that Kyler might go to Atlanta. That is my.
Oh, good.
Champ
No,
doesn't want that. Champ
no.
doesn't want that.
I
If he
know,
couldn't
but
study in the
like,
desert, how's he going to come to Atlanta with all those distractions? It takes a special kind of personality to play at big markets like Atlanta.
I mean, he's a scrambling quarterback. I mean, like, you guys have nothing but running the ball. I mean, you guys have Drake London, so have Kyle Pitts if he gets traded or not. So even though you still have John Smith, who's actually not bad, but he's not good either. I mean, the offensive line is top 10, I think, and your defense is like top 5.
Yeah, defense top 3. But the thing
Oh,
is
top 3,
about
sorry.
Kyler Murray is he going to be committed? Like I said, if you can't stay committed, I've been to Arizona. There's no better place to train and keep yourself in shape than Arizona. I mean, and if you can't keep yourself in shape and in perfect condition in a market like Arizona, which is relatively a small market, how are you going to do that in a place like Atlanta when distractions are many?
Because I think, champ, in a situation like Kyler's, they're probably going to move on from him and they're going to get a quarterback if they have a chance to get Caleb Williams or whoever in the draft. The Cardinals, that's on the Cardinals for putting that clause in his contract, but that's also on Kyler as well for admitting that he doesn't spend a lot of time watching film or studying tape. And when you look at Kyler, considering all the criticism, the things that have been said about him, that he's small, could he play the position? Does he take football that seriously? Is he more obsessed with video games than he is watching film? Considering, I think Kyler needs some humble pie. Now, yes, I get it. Atlanta, I've been to the ATL as well. You can get distracted in the ATL. You can get distracted in the ATL, just like you can get distracted in New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans. But Kyler, I think, considering what he's been through the past couple of seasons, and with the weapons that he has in Atlanta, if he went there, you got to get rid of Arthur Smith. I'm sorry, he's too antiquated as a head coach and as an offensive mind. You got to throw him out there. If you put Kyler with those types of pieces and probably someone like a brother figure, if he had like a Mike Vick, because Mike Vick knows what it's like to be in Atlanta. He played there. He was drafted there with the number 1 overall pick in 2000. And I'm not comparing Michael Vick and Kyler Murray as like people in terms of off the field. But Mike Vick understands, and Mike Vick even admitted he didn't take his football career seriously when he was in Atlanta. So maybe if Mike Vick, if he can talk to Kyler, become like a brother figure to Kyler and tell him, look, these are some of the things that you got to do in order for you to maximize your potential. You don't want to waste it the same way I did coming out of college. And coming out of Virginia Tech, Mike Vick was a problem. 6 feet, 215, blazing speed, 4.3, 4.36 speed, cannon of an arm. The problem with Mike Vick, I just didn't think he took football all that seriously. But when he did during his time in Philadelphia, and just like Atlanta, Philly, that's a tough place to be distracted too. Now, unlike Atlanta, Philly's harsh. The fan base, the atmosphere there is harsh. But when you have structure and when you have guys around you like an Andy Reid or others to help you out, that I think that's something that you can build on. So for Atlanta, if you want to get a guy like Kyler, as talented, as dynamic as he is, you got to get him like a brother figure, somebody who can mentor him, somebody who can help him mature and make him realize, yo, you have a lot of potential, you have a lot of talent. Don't squander it. Just make the most out of it. Maximize your potential as much as possible. I think he needs to have like a brother figure, champ. If he can do that on and off the football field, I think Atlanta would get something in return. I could be wrong. Maybe you're right because you're still worried about if it doesn't work out in Arizona, why am I supposed to assume it's going to work out in Atlanta? But you never know. You won't know unless you try.
And you notice something about Lincoln Riley quarterbacks? Every last one of them, they struggle in year 3. Baker Mayfield had his greatest struggles in year 3. Kyler Murray had his greatest struggles in year 3. And now it's told down that has been passed on to Jalen Hurts because of his turnover woes. Just put a little something out there.
Oh, coincidence? What are you trying to say about my Oklahoma quarterbacks?
Hey man, the further they get away from Lincoln Riley, the more they start to struggle.
Hey, wait a minute. Baker in year 3 wasn't that bad. They made the playoffs that year.
No, he made the playoffs in year 2, I think.
No, year 3. He was drafted with the number 1 pick.
Oh, that was year 4. I apologize.
Yeah, year 4 he struggled.
Year 4.
3. And year 3, Kyler was playing well the first half of the season. They were like 7-0. And then the later half of the season, he got banged up a little bit. And then the season started to tail off. And then it culminated in that playoff game against the Rams, in which he and the team were awful. I mean,
it was awful.
Yeah, he threw 2 interceptions, one of the worst pick sixes that you could possibly look at. He threw the ball underhand in the near their territory, and had a QBR of 8 in that game. So
I think if you were going to go that route that you stated earlier, trade for a quarterback, I wouldn't mind trading. I would change my stance on Justin Fields because at least he's a younger quarterback. He's a younger quarterback, and he's just been in a terrible situation. And, Chicago's a tough spot. I would take that risk on Justin Fields because it's not going to cost me a lot of draft capital. It's not going to hit me in the pocket as far as cap space is concerned. So I would take that risk on Justin Fields and, see if they could I could get him for a third or a fourth. But as far as taking that risk on Kyler Murray, not just because we just got out of cap hell with Matty Ice's contract. Just got out of cap hell with that contract. Got out of cap hell with Julio Jones's and the remainder of that contract. So that's the whole thing about that. I don't want to end up in another cap hell situation. And that will put us in a bad position so we can't sign and develop the players that we have right now. Because I believe Drake London is going to get a new contract. I believe that
you got to take care of Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, got to take care of Kyle Pitts. You got to take care of AJ Terrell so he won't get away from us in free agency. You got to take care of a lot of guys on that defensive side and that offensive side. So you got to be able to maneuver yourself. And that's the reason why I'm skeptical about getting Kyler Murray because of the cap hit. $60 million a year on the cap is a lot of money. And if you're not performing, then we have to play you. It's going to be a lot of smoke in the city at that point.
All right, let me ask you this question. If Trey Lance was not traded to Dallas, would you have mind him going to the ATL?
I wouldn't have wanted Trey Lance. He didn't prove. That thing is this. Kyle Shanahan is a quarterback whisperer. He has proven that he can get quarterbacks. He literally, Brock Purdy was a Mr. Irrelevant. Now, they can say he's fraud and he's a system quarterback, but you got him to play and prove that he could get you somewhere. And one may argue if he hadn't got put out of the game in the playoffs, the 49ers could have ended up in the Super Bowl his first year starting. So, and if you can't prove something to a guy like Kyle Shanahan, who is a quarterback whisperer, then I don't think you can really, really play. Because he turned Matty Ice from just a regular Pro Bowler to an All-Pro and an MVP. And then you saw the downtrot that Matty Ice did after Kyle Shanahan left. Yes, he made the playoffs the year afterward, but as the further he got away from Kyle Shanahan in that offense, it got progressively worse and worse and worse and worse.
All right. All right, let's move on to some NFL picks right here. Obviously, we saw the Bills winning the game against the Bucks 24-18. Oh, yes. Big game right here. Rams versus Cowboys. Cowboys are coming back from their bye week, and Dallas is a 6-point favorite. Game will be at AT&T Stadium at Arlington, Texas. Champ, who do you got?
I'm taking the Cowboys on that. Coming off the bye week, yeah, they're gonna be really, really dangerous.
All right.
Yeah. I think it still could be close, but I still think Puka, Acuna, whatever his name is, I think he's still gonna
Puka
have
Nacua.
whatever his name is. I don't give a shit. But Pupi Nakua, whatever the fuck his name is. I'm sorry, but I say Stafford, he's still gonna have a good game, but I don't think they're gonna stop Dak. But I think I'm going with the Cowboys on this one.
I'm going to actually go with Cowboys, but I do think it's going to be a lot closer than people anticipate. I do think Puka Nacua is going to have another good game. Stafford is back home. Remember, he's from Texas. So he's going to go home. The question I have with Dallas, how is Dak Prescott going to play? Because we've seen games in which Dak plays well, and we see games in which Dak doesn't play well. So how is he going to perform? How's Dallas's defense going to perform? But I think they'll do better. I think they'll be all right. I got Dallas win this one 27-20. 27-20.
Okay.
Next game, we got Vikings against the Packers. The line says even, and it's at Green Bay. Vikings are coming off an impressive victory on Monday night against the San Francisco 49ers. Kirk Cousins has been playing fantastic this season. He already has over 2,000 yards, 16 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. I'm going to go with the Vikings in this one. I just think Jordan Love has been too inconsistent so far. What says y'all?
I agree with you. I got to go with Kirk Cousins. He's been on fire. And not to mention, that receiving core, I thought they were going to struggle without Justin Jefferson, but they're speeding off.
Hey, Jordan Addison, that was a nice draft pick for them.
Yes, that was a very, very nice draft pick. So, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens when Justin Jefferson comes back as well, to see can they get that tandem to work together. Because if they can get that tandem to work together, that'll push them forward next year and give them kind of a tandem that they had with Chris Carter and Moss. I know that's the ceiling, not the bottom line. That's the ceiling that I see that they could be, because Justin Jefferson is talented, and the receiver they have right now is talented as well. So I have to go with Kirk Cousins right now. It's safe to say if his record was a little bit different right now, he'd be an MVP candidate.
Mm-hmm. Got my boy Brandon right here. Yo couldn't come on tonight, PSP, but salute y'all. Go shout out. Salute to our boy Brandon from the block. Go check out his football podcast every Mondays nights at 7 p.m. And also go check out his basketball podcast every Wednesday nights. Harrison, who do you have for the Vikings Packers?
Jesus Christ, this is just like after a great win on primetime Kirk Cousins, I don't know how they won that game, and also you play against Jordan Love, who played not good of a game against Denver, but Jesus, it's like a rock in a hard place. But I'm going with Minnesota, but would I wouldn't be surprised? I mean, it's at Lambeau Field, though. I mean, anything can happen at Lambeau, but I'm going with Minnesota by a point.
All right. Next one. I want Champ to answer this one first. Falcons at the Titans. Atlanta is a 2.5-point favorite. Champ, man, not often we talk about how great Atlanta's defense has been, but it's been very impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
even you as a Falcons fan, man, you got to be amazed from what you see from the defense, man. Who you got winning this one?
Hey, Jesse Bates is a dark horse MVP candidate, depending on how well the season goes for him. He already has 3 interceptions, almost over 30 tackles at this point, 3 forced fumbles. Hey, you just can't do it much better than that thus far in the season. Hey, top 3 defense in the league. It's been a long time since we had a defense like that. I was talking with a fellow Falcons fans on a live earlier that I had early on Sunday. If we would have had this defense back in 2016, we'd have won the Super Bowl. But then again, maybe not. You just never know. Uh, I have to go with my Atlanta Falcons. Uh, Tennessee is in disarray right now, and especially will depend on if they get rid of Derrick Henry right before the trade deadline. And that, I mean, tomorrow's going to be very, very much exciting and on edge all at the same time, because trade deadline is approaching on Halloween night, and we're watching to see not only college football to see who we're going to take in the draft, but you got to pay attention to who's going to get traded tomorrow. So with that franchise being in disarray, and they're not really, and plus they're not really set on who's going to be the quarterback. They're thinking about trotting Real Levis out there, which I said earlier in the year, right before the draft, that I don't believe Real Levis could play in the NFL. But I got to go with the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think Malik Willis or Will Levis can play against
It's
that
Will
defense.
Levis. It's Will Levis.
Will Levis. I apologize. Excuse
No,
me.
you good.
Yeah, I don't think Will Levis or Malik Willis can play against that defense. That defense is really going to expose whoever plays. If Ryan Tannehill was playing, I would give him a chance, but not so much right about now.
All right,
Alrighty.
and before I let Harrison respond, Brandon responded, by the way, Chase Young, the Seahawk, he has not been traded. He's just trolling because he just wants from my team to trade him. Stop, Brandon. And then he said, make it happen.
Bro, you got Frank Clark.
Thank you. All right, Harrison, who you have winning this one?
How much of this is like hurting my soul. I gotta go with the Falcons. I mean, Derrick Henry is gonna go by D-Hop. I hope he becomes a Panther, which I probably not. It's probably not going to happen, but I wish it happens. Derrick Henry is going to be a Baltimore Raven or a Dallas Cowboy, and Will Levis is can't wait to wake up in the morning and have mayonnaise in his fucking coffee, which is fucking disgusting. But
yeah, I remember that. No, he actually did that, champ. Man actually poured mayonnaise in his coffee. Go look at it up on YouTube.
That was true.
No, that's actually true.
Oh, I thought that was
true, bro.
No.
Oh my God.
You gotta go look that up on YouTube.
I know that got me the chills, brother. But
that's cringeworthy.
Yeah,
cringeworthy and give me the chills.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going with Atlanta. I just hope BJ. I hope BJ Robinson. He's gonna have himself a day. It's just Desmond Ridder, man. That guy's just start Taylor Heineke. That's all you gotta do, and you'll win the freaking South. But I'm going with Atlanta on this one, but by 10 points.
Desmond Ridder has been playing better than people give him credit for. I mean, he did struggle in that Washington game in which he threw 3 picks, but before that, he had his best game. I thought it was the Texans. I mean, he looked really good in that game against the Texans. I think he had over 300 yards, 1 TD. As long as he takes care of the football and makes smart decisions and then uses his legs when needed to, I think Atlanta should be fine. The bigger problem is Arthur Smith. His play calling.
I mean, you got to ask yourself, and I say this every single week when I go live on TikTok. Does he trust Desmond Ridder enough in order to give him the ball? And you got to base some of the play call. And I know that Arthur Smith is a glorified run coach because he's trying to mimic what he did in Tennessee. But you have to ask yourself, okay, yes, he's doing some questionable calling. Like on 3rd and 5, he's trying to run Bijan Robinson, and you see 8 in the box already. But you have to ask yourself, is he making that call because, just to make that call? Or does he not trust Desmond Ridder in order to make that throw and get us that first down to get us to better field position? Because the thing is, the score should have been higher early on the last game we played. He fumbled the ball twice.
Mm-hmm.
Got to take care of that football. I mean, fumble the ball on the goal line, not to mention fumble the ball as you was crossing the goal line.
All right. Next game, Saints on the road against the Indianapolis Colts. The Saints are 1.5-point favorites. Champ, who do you got?
Derek Carr, that offense been struggling. So I ain't finna. I don't trust the Aints. I'm gonna go with the Colts.
I'm gonna go with the Colts as well. I think that the Colts are better than what we give them credit for. They almost pulled off that victory against the Browns, and they've actually looked pretty good so far this season. To their credit, the Colts. But Harrison, what do you say?
Bro said. Oh, sorry.
They were the Aints when they were wearing them
with
trash
New
bags.
Orleans. I'm going with New Orleans on this one. It's not Derek Carr's fault. The O-line's so freaking bad. I mean, you have no idea. It's just like, I still can't believe that tight end just dropped that wide open pass. I was screaming. My dad told me to shut the fuck up. But I'm going with New Orleans up by 2.
All right. Next one, New England on the road against the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are 9.5-point favorites. Miami needs a bounce back victory after coming off that tough loss against the Eagles on Sunday night. Meanwhile, the Patriots beat the Buffalo Bills, and Mac Jones outperformed Josh Allen. So, Harrison, who do you have winning this one?
You mean mac and cheese, right?
Yeah. Although he doesn't
sorry.
really eat I don't know if he eats macaroni. He even admits he doesn't even eat like pie, like apple pie or whatever.
Damn, man, that's whatever. But the battle of the Alabama quarterbacks, Tua's playing like a top 10 quarterback right now. Tyreek Hill, I think he's available to play. Jalen Ramsey might be available to play. Haven't seen him since God knows how long. Like, geez, since practice in the summertime. But I still think Miami, and it's not going to be close by 10 points.
Champ?
Miami will beat them by 13.
And I got Dolphins win this one by 11. All right, another one right here. Jets versus Giants. The Jets are 3-point favorites. I got the Jets in this one. I think the reason why the Giants beat the Commanders is because the Commanders' offensive line is just that terrible. The New York Giants, leading into that game against the Commanders, had 5 total sacks. And they sacked Sam Howell at least 6 times in that game. That's not going to be the case for the Giants against New York Jets. I think the Jets are the better team. They're a better defensive team. Zach Wilson has been playing better. Is he a franchise? Is he the type of quarterback that I want? No, but I will give him credit for at least improving his play and taking responsibility and becoming more mature. I'm going to go with the Jets in this one. Champ?
Jets.
Harrison?
Give me the Jets by 2 field goals.
All right. Now, this is an interesting one right here. Jacksonville goes on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Jaguars are 2-point favorites. The Steelers, I will give them credit. They are a really good defensive team. Mike Tomlin, he still finds ways to win games. Kenny Pickett, I'm still unsure with at the quarterback position. But, hey, they still find ways to win. And they got some really good pieces with Pickens, the other wide receiver. I keep forgetting his name.
Deontay Johnson?
Yes, him. But Trevor Lawrence, this may be he may struggle in this game. Believe it or not, I'm going to go with the Steelers in this one. Champ?
I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville. I'm gonna go with Duval County. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
I was in this is a flip of a coin because I looked it up. I was like, what's the overall between those two? Jacksonville leads the series against the Pittsburgh Steelers 14-13. The last time they played each other, I think, was in 2018. That's when the Steelers made that incredible comeback when Big Ben tried to do a quarterback sneak in Jacksonville.
Mm.
It's in Pittsburgh. I mean, the Jaguars have the better quarterback, but the Steelers have a better defense.
Right.
I'm picking the home team. I'm picking Pittsburgh by 2 points.
All right. Sorry, Harrison. Texans versus Panthers.
Oh Jesus Lord.
And the Texans are 3.5-point favorites.
Well, the good news about it, Austin Corbett's back. Our right guard is finally coming back, which is that this is huge. This is like on top of the moon, like fucking unicorns and shit. Fucking Miles Sanders back, which dude fucking sucks, man. Let's just see if he could try to get his head out of his fucking ass. What else? Xavier Woods is back. Von Bell might be back this week or next week. J.C. Horn might be back next week. What else? Brian Burns, we don't know about him. That's the biggest question mark. If he doesn't play, we are screwed. Bryce Young has a 65% completion. And a lot of people are really underestimating Bryce Young a lot. I really want him to win this game. Not for himself, but also for the whole entire organization that he is for real. I'm going with Carolina. I just think that we're finally getting a little bit healthy. I just hope that we could just try to pull this off and I just can't wait for our offensive coordinator Thomas Brown can do what he could do with this offense. I'll say Carolina wins by I'll say 6 points.
All right, Champ.
Texans by 10.
And I got Texans. And Browns at the Seahawks. And Seattle is a 4-point favorite. And I don't even know if Deshaun is going to play in that game. He's been bothered with the shoulder injury. But Champ, what says you?
You said the Browns versus the Rams?
Browns at the Seahawks, I'm sorry.
Browns at the Seahawks.
Watson is out, by the way. Sorry.
Watson's out. I'm going with the Seahawks.
I was stuck between. Shout out to PJ Walker owning Tom Brady, and now he owns Brock Purdy. I mean, I don't want to doubt PJ Walker though. That's the thing, because he's my that's my Panther legend. Wink, wink. No, but I want to go Cleveland so bad. I really do, but it's in Seattle. It's like the loudest stadium probably ever, I think. But I'm going with Seattle though by 1. Seattle by 1.
I'm gonna go Seattle in this one though. We got Chiefs at Broncos. Chiefs are 7-point favorites. I think it's fair to say all of us agree Chiefs.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, but it's gonna be close in the experts thing.
It's gonna be close though. I think Russ will play well. I don't think he'll play as bad as he did Thursday Night Football, but it still won't do much. Then Ravens at Cardinals. Ravens are 10-point favorites. Lamar Jackson had by far his best game of the season against the Detroit Lions. We all think it's fair to say Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Now the big one here on Sunday afternoon, Bengals versus Niners. The Niners are now a 5-point favorites. Cincinnati has been winning a couple of games so far, and they just came off the bye week. So who do you have in this one?
Is Trent Williams back?
Who?
That I don't know.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. Because if Trent Williams back, I give him a chance. But if he's not, then they can pretty much hang it up.
Let's see. Trent Williams right here. If he better play. It says here Trent's progressing. There is a chance that he could play. He's listed as questionable.
Give me the Bengals, especially coming off that bye week. They're refreshed. So, and plus, Joe Burrow is going to be a lot healthier. So, I'm going to take Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Damn. I'm still picking San Francisco. I mean, I think Sam Darnold is gonna play. I mean, I'm pretty sure any other team could play with that offense, including freaking Carson Wentz.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Harrison, are you saying that Sam Darnold is a better quarterback than Brock Purdy?
No, I didn't say that. I said I'm pretty sure everyone can play in that offense.
Okay. So
But
do you
I'm picking Sanford. I'm picking San Francisco.
I know you're picking San Francisco to win, but okay, you say anybody. Okay, let me ask you this question. If you put Justin Fields with the Eagles offense, could he do what Jalen Hurts is doing?
With the Eagles offense?
Yeah, Justin Fields. If you put Justin Fields with the Eagles offense, because that's what Kenny has been saying all along.
Ah, shit.
Man, he rushed for 1,000 yards behind a bad. I think it was 12 to 1,300 yards behind a bad offensive line.
He did last year.
Yeah, so I mean that's a pretty safe assumption.
I mean, that's the biggest question mark.
I mean,
I might say no. I might say no because he cannot throw. I mean, Justin Fields is a better thrower than. No, I mean Jalen Hurts is the better thrower.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad. I'm going San Francisco by 7.
I don't see San Francisco losing this one. I find it hard to believe they would lose 3 consecutive times in a row. And if they do, then either San Francisco, we got major concerns, or we're going to have to pay more attention and give a lot of credit to Cincinnati, because a lot of people were bashing the Bengals and particularly Joe Burrow. And we saw from them last year, they did struggle early in the season, but they were able to at least be competitive and make it to an AFC championship game. I'm not saying that the Bengals are going to go that deep, but let's not rule them out completely yet. There's still plenty of football left to play. So, and then Bears at Chargers Sunday night. And the Chargers are an 8.5-point favorites.
Jesus fucking Christ. And Justin Fields is out. Let's just go with the Chargers.
Let's just go with the Chargers.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm probably picking the Bears.
For real?
What the fuck?
Because I'm afraid Brandon Staley's gonna do some dumb shit.
Okay, listen, we already know Brandon Staley did some dumb shit, but he's not. There's no way in hell that he's gonna lose to the Chicago Bears.
But if he does, what's gonna end up happening?
I just might break something.
They're gonna pull the Herm Edwards on them if they do that. You know how they did Herm Edwards.
What's he gonna do after the game? He's gonna go say like the late great Dennis Green. They are who they thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
So better chance will be playoff.
No, it's like what Matt Rose said. We gotta look at the tape. I didn't see that.
Yeah. And Monday Night Football, we got Raiders versus the Lions. It's at the Lions, and Detroit is an 8-point.
Carr is ready to play, by the way, with the back injury. So
who?
Okay.
Jimmy G.
sorry.
I said Carr. Fucking hell, dude. So Jimmy G is ready to play. But
my God, you got to bring up a porn star.
Porn star Jimmy.
You see, apparently you like giving him that nickname.
Hey man, porn star Jimmy, man.
It's I saw a meme a couple days ago. It was like talking about the Kirk Cousins, like Black Kirk Cousins is Dak Prescott. We got Kirk Cousins' cousin. It's Ryan Tannehill. We got long neck Kirk Cousins as Davis Mills. But back where we were saying, I'm going with the Lions. I think Jared Goff is still him. Still a top 15, top 10 quarterback. Jameer, I don't know about David Montgomery. I think he's out, but it's still going to be that the Laporta, to Gibbs. And shout out to Gibbs to get his first touchdown of the season against the Rays, even though they got shut the fuck out. Mm-hmm. But I'm going with the Lions on this one by probably 14.
All right, and Champ, you going with the Lions, and so do I. Let's talk about some college football. Champ, your Bulldogs going on the road, facing the Florida Gators. How do you feel about this one?
Coming off the bye week, we've had a chance to readjust, without Brock Bowers. So if we were, like I said on an earlier podcast, if we were going right into Florida without Brock Bowers, without any time to adjust, I probably would have gave that game to Florida. But we've had time in order to readjust our offense, to recalibrate with the bye week. And I think Dips is going to do a great job. He's not going to be a Brock Bowers type of player, but I think he's going to do a great job because he was overshadowed when Brock Bowers was there. So I think that we're going to go a roll. We're going to we're going to fry the Florida Gators in the swamp. So,
Harrison, your
Yo.
team, Duke, they got a big game against Louisville. Louisville is a 6-point favorite. How do you feel about this one?
6-point favorite? Damn, I thought it was 4.5.
No, it's 6-point favorite. I'm watching it on ESPN right now.
Oh shit. Well, I think that's okay. Riley Leonard, I think after really tough loss, we hang for Florida State. Riley Leonard didn't play that well. He had 69 yards, but sorry, but Riley Leonard didn't do terrible. The defense played amazing. Our defense played amazing. I think we still have a shot to win this game against Louisville. I think Riley Leonard is going to play with the ankle injury, which he actually played. He played great. It's just after that ankle injury, he was running back and forth like freaking what's that, the Brazilian track and field dude? I forgot his name. He used to be in the Olympics.
I don't remember.
I forgot his name was. But I think Riley Leonard is going to be playing against Louisville. I think people need to stop underestimating Duke a lot. I think Duke wins by 3 points.
All right. So folks, to end off the show, we're gonna do some start, benches, and cuts. So we're gonna do an NFL one. This is a quarterback one. Now, this has nothing to do with accomplishments. It's specifically your ability to pass or throw the foot.
Okay. Oh.
Yep. Which one is the greatest passer or thrower between Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, or Dan Marino? Champ, you go first.
Dan Marino had the quickest release you ever want to see, threw the prettiest ball you ever want to see. So I'm starting Dan Marino. I'm benching Aaron Rodgers. I'm cutting Patrick Mahomes. Based off just being a pure passer. And Dan Marino had some of the best footwork you ever want to see as well, even though he wasn't a very mobile quarterback. So based off of that alone, Dan Marino.
Harrison?
Damn. Oh my god. Fuck. That's tough. I might. Damn. I might start Rodgers. I'm benching Marino, and I'm cutting Mahomes.
Okay. Why cut Mahomes for both of you? Is it because of the decision making? Is it because of what is it exactly?
Mainly because history's still being written on him. History is still being written on him. And although he throws a very, very pretty pass, I mean, there's certain film on Dan Marino right now. If you go back and look at it, when you look at the film, you can never see a clear version of his hand. It's always a blur. And like I said, he had the quickest release you've ever want to see. I mean, he cost a lot of quarterbacks, even though he wasn't very. And out of the other two quarterbacks, he was the least mobile out of both of them. You never see Dan Marino run out of the pocket, do a lot of willy-nilly outside of the pocket, which made him even more dangerous. Was because, keep in mind, back in the 80s, he was playing against some of the best pass rushers of all time in the 80s and early 90s. So he's playing against some of the best pass rushers of all time. And he was playing against the Buffalo Bills twice a year at the peak of his career. So for you to cost guys like Bruce Smith a lot of sacks by just having that quick release, and you're not very, very mobile as far as running the football or anything like that. You would never mistake Dan Marino for a running quarterback. Got to go with him.
I'm gonna go start Marino, bench Aaron Rodgers, and cut Mahomes. I think Marino, if you actually go back, he throws the prettiest spiral. Like just off the flick, just like that. Aaron, I think. He's great inside, outside the pocket in terms of the pinpoint accuracy, especially when he goes outside the pocket. Mahomes, at times, even though I love what he does as far as with the baseball background, the baseball throws, the sidearm throws, the no looks, and stuff like that. But sometimes I got to go with Dan, man. Dan Marino, if you just look at what he did as far as his ability to throw within the pocket, it's just right there. And I think the biggest knock on him, he didn't really have that much of a supporting cast during his time in Miami. He had Mark Super Duper and Chuck Muncie, if I'm not mistaken. He didn't really have much. He didn't really have a defense. He didn't really
Chuck Muncie played for the San Diego Chargers, PSP.
Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't really have enough as far as the defense. So imagine if Dan Marino actually had a competent defense and some more players around him. Dan Marino, we would be viewing him entirely different. At top 10 wise, as far as quarterbacks is concerned, he's got to be in that discussion. Although he has no rings, but he has to be in that discussion as far as just his ability to throw the ball, pass the ball. He was that gifted as a passer. So start Marino, bench Rodgers. Unfortunately, cut Mahomes, but Mahomes still has plenty of time. That's the beauty of it. He's only 28 years old. So just for now. All right. Now we're going to do a WWE one.
Oh, shit.
That.
Well, that's
Ric Flair, Triple H in the middle, and Hulk Hogan.
Now, what are we basing this off of?
In their prime.
I'm picking who I like.
In their prime? Go ahead, Harrison. I apologize.
Yeah, no. Bro, I feel like PSP is gonna be like Maria on me on the WWE shit. I didn't watch a single episode of WWE. I always talk to my brother about this. My brother's 24. I'm starting Ric Flair.
Okay.
I'm benching what was the other guy again? The last one again? Mojo?
You mean Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, I'm benching Hulk Hogan, and I am cutting what was the other guy again?
Triple H.
Triple H, yeah.
Okay. Why bench Hogan and cut Triple H?
Because that's the only people I heard of.
All right, Champ.
I'm starting Hulk Hogan.
Okay.
I'm benching Ric Flair, and unfortunately, I got to cut Triple H at his peak. People can say whatever they want to about Hulk Hogan wrestling wise, because he was not an impeccable wrestler as far as mat wrestling is concerned. But at his peak, not only in the red and yellow in the WWE, his first go around, but in WCW with the NWO, there was no more popular character than Hulk Hogan at his peak. Ric Flair was good, but as far as exceeding the popularity of a Hulk Hogan at his very peak, you gotta go with Hulk Hogan no matter what. Three of the most famous wrestling matches involve Hulk Hogan. Hogan versus Andre.
Okay.
Hogan versus the Ultimate Warrior. Hogan versus The Rock. Hogan versus Ric Flair himself. People don't realize, even with Ric Flair, WCW wasn't selling out pay-per-views until Hulk Hogan got there. So four of the biggest matches, arguably in wrestling history during the 90s, all involved one man. That was Hulk Hogan. Triple H had his reign of terror, but it wasn't as big as Hogan's, even when he was in Evolution.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately for me, I gotta cut Triple H. It's a tough one between Flair and Hogan. I mean, the Hulkamaniacs, the Hulkster. But Nature Boy Ric Flair, 16-time world champion. To be the man, you gotta beat the man. The flair that he had. I start Hogan, I bench Flair, and I cut Triple H. That's a tough one for me. And I like Flair a lot, but that's a
Yeah, I
tough
like Flair a lot, but at his peak, Hulk Hogan.
I saw him college game day against Wisconsin Ohio State, and the way he picked he said after when he went finished his prediction, he said, "I can't stand Ohio State." I was like, "Yep, I like that. I like it when he does this, woo, and all that shit. That was the best."
All right, we're gonna do some rap right here, some West Coast.
Oh shit!
Uh-oh.
Is that Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, the Snoop Dogg on the left, Ice Cube on the right, and Too Short. Ice Cube on the middle, and Too Short on the right.
Oh,
So, champ.
You go first, OG.
At their peak.
Yes.
At their peak. Starred Snoop, benching Cube, cutting Too Short.
Oh, and that in exact order of that.
You know what's crazy? That's the same. That was my same thing.
That was the same thing. Out of all, if you really, really think about it, Too Short was for the hardcore listener. He wasn't really for the casual rap fan. Snoop and Cube was for the casual rap fan. I mean, you can find anybody anywhere to say I got an Ice Cube or a Snoop Dogg CD. You really had to go, when I was doing their peak, their prospective peaks, I could go over anybody's house and find, Snoop's and Cube CD. I had to go over a specific people's house in order to find Too Short CD. That's how come I'm picking those guys. Now, don't get me wrong, Too Short was great. But those two, you can go anywhere. The casual fan will have their CD. Everybody knows about Gin and Juice. Everybody knows about No Vaseline. You know how we do, put your back into it, all of that. It's rare that you hear somebody say, hey, man, did you listen to... It's rare that you hear rap conversations and you hear somebody talk about Freaky Tales.
Right. Yeah, I mean, Snoop, but I like Snoop in terms of the flow. I like Snoop's flow, chemistry with he and Dre. Cube, I'm a bench Cube. I'm gonna cut Too Short though, because again, to all the points that you alluded to, Champ. I mean, if you're gonna listen to somebody, you're not gonna listen to Too Short because of the commercial success, the lack of commercial success compared to Cube and Snoop. So it's not gonna resonate with the audience. But Too Short though had some nice tracks though.
Yeah, he had some nice tracks. Like I said, you just had to go to. I had to go over a specific person's house. My cousin Chuck. I had to go over his house in order to listen to Too Short. My other cousins weren't really, listening to Too Shorts like that. Right. It's kind of like trying to find somebody that listen to Pastor Troy. You're not gonna find so many people that listen to him outside of being in Georgia.
Mm-hmm. And Harrison, who you got? Oh wait, you already said start Snoop.
Yeah, we had the same thing. Yeah.
All right. And one last one, and we wrap up the show. Which drink you want?
Damn, it's like waffles and pancakes. I was not a Coca-Cola type of person when I was a kid. I usually, when I was like 12 or 13, I always asked for a Sprite every single time when I went to like McDonald's or like Chick-fil-A and shit. So I'm going with the Sprite.
Champ?
I just got through drinking the Coke, so I'm going with Coke.
I'm gonna go with Sprite, man. I mean, I never like. I mean, Coca-Cola. I don't mind it from time to time, but I'm more of a Sprite type of dude. Sprite, ginger ale, fan of that type of stuff. So that's what's
You like LeBron said, you want a Sprite cranberry?
Hey, plus you know
I can't
McDonald's got that
I can't
Pepsi
wait for
Sprite.
that LeBron commercial. Hey, you want a Sprite cranberry? It's the most thirstiest time of the year, man.
And on that note, we wrap up the Sports PSP podcast. Fellas, tell them where to follow y'all at.
Undisputed World Champ on TikTok, World Champ _2.0 on Instagram.
All right, Harrison, tell them where to
Follow
follow
me
you.
on TikTok right here. And also follow me on Twitter. I might start doing YouTube pretty soon. Just don't know when. But yeah, just thank you for having me on, PSP.
Anytime,
Thanks, PSP.
man. No problem, no problem. And Champ, you say you're gonna do a podcast soon with YouTube or something?
Yeah, I am. I'm waiting on my there's another person that I'm waiting on right now. He's my best friend. You know, we trying to get everything together right now. If you think I know knowledge about sports, you should see this guy. This dude is in depth. And he an Auburn fan, so I gotta fight with him every single year doing college football. Knowing the
Man,
guy
they
from
suck.
yeah, I've known the guy for like over 20 years. We go back since middle school. So once I get him on board and we revolve everything around his schedule because we work two different schedules. Once I get him on, it's gonna be on.
All right, and definitely have him on the Sports PSP podcast and Brandon's podcast as well.
I most certainly will.
All right. Fellas, thanks for everyone for hopping on to the podcast. Also, make sure to go like and subscribe to the Sports PSP podcast. And we is